Welcome back to the vendor table.
Hi.
We're remote today.
Yeah, we felt like being lazy.
Or we just couldn't get studio time. So
Yeah. Well, shit happens.
yeah, it's the busy season. So
how's your busy season going?
It's going. I got 4 left, doubleheader this weekend, and then 2 after that. My last wedding's like towards the end of November, like the week before Thanksgiving, and then I'm done.
Nice.
How about you?
I have 9 left.
9 left. How many for yourself?
4.
4. Okay, that's pretty good. So same as me, but you're second shooting.
But oh no, sorry. 2 of them are elopements. So okay. I'm not counting those because they're easy.
Okay.
And very different, laid back, very, very easy. I have 1 left at Raphael.
Okay.
Which I'm about, and then I gotta have another one in there somewhere. I counted them the other day. I might, you know what? I think I counted this past weekend's in that. So I think I have 3 left for myself, and then the rest I'm second shooting.
There you go. All right. Yeah, like we're almost through the season. The chaos is almost complete, and it's gonna be a nice long kind of hibernation period. I don't know about for you, but I didn't take a wedding from December through April.
I did.
Did you? I did not. I did not want to. I need some time. I need to chill.
I will probably complain about it openly.
Yeah.
I like tormenting myself, but the couples that I have booked for those winter months are like ideal for me. So I just like could not say no. They were so great.
Don't you like, but you have told me directly, I don't like the cold. I don't like shooting in the cold.
I did stop taking lifestyle sessions during those periods of time because at least with a wedding you could go inside,
Mm-hmm.
And you can use light to make it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's fair enough. Okay.
When I'm doing lifestyle sessions, I've talked about this all the time. I have cold urticaria. That means I break out in hives when I'm cold. And this is a thing. One of my clients recently had the same thing, and he was talking to me about it. And I was just like, all right, great. So at least I'm not fibbing.
Mm-hmm.
The real thing. So like when it's wintertime and it's always maternity clients. Y'all are fucking nuts.
Yeah, I get a lot of maternity clients in the winter. It's funny. That is very funny that you say that.
Like they're all just, getting preggers in the summer, and then they're like, oh, we got to pop out a kid in the winter and I need photos. And I'm like, all right, cool. But we're not doing them outside because you're going to hate me if I put you outside. So here's a studio we can go to if you want to do something inside. But then they all just kind of disappear because they want outside. But why?
I know.
Everything looks like crap outside in the winter.
There's very few locations that look good in the winter. Like you need like a really good pine forest and stuff. There's one here, but it's like everybody uses
That's the only option. And even in the dead of winter, like it's still very sparse and
yeah, it doesn't look that great. So I mean, we're all gonna go through that winter hibernation period, that winter slump. But also that's a good time to start booking clients, though. That's like when I open my books and everything like that. I don't know about you, but like
really booking season.
Yeah, I can't wait for booking season. All right, so we're like, you guys didn't notice, we are remote today. So we're doing things a little different. Just because of the fact we are remote, we don't have each other right across, so there might be a little delay, a little lag. We're gonna see how this works out and everything like that. But announcement is we got set up like this for the fact that we are going to have remote guests on the show.
It's about time.
Yeah, like you guys have kind of asked for it, like, oh, you should have so and so on, so and so on. And we really love having in studio guests, but we realize, there's, really incredible people in the industry from all over the world that could never come to New York or won't have the opportunity to come to New York to record. So, we decided to invest in a remote setup for those occasions. Today is like our trial period of trying it out, making sure it sounds good and everything like that. But the goal for this is to bring in more and more top industry pros. So, being able to be remote and do this is something that we've kind of dreamed about for a while now, and this is the first one we're doing. So let's see if it works out. I don't fucking know if it will, though.
Well, we're gonna figure it out, I suppose, but I think we're doing all right so far.
Yeah, sure. All right, but we have a topic we want to talk about today. So this is you know, a lot of people have wrote us in, especially our Facebook group has been popping off lately. Got a lot of great stories that go on in there, but one of the topics that was brought up in there was like, can vendors tell when clients aren't going to last?
And this is a touchy subject.
It's very touchy. So we go straight from Halloween craziness to a touchy subject. We just, riding a roller coaster of emotions over here.
And we don't want anybody to feel like the things that we're talking about today, like your vendors are scrutinizing whether or not your relationship is going to last. But these are just like some red flags that people have noted to us about certain things that made them think it probably wasn't going to make it, or they're shocked that they're still together.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so getting into it though, but I've shot over 300 weddings now, and I've had a lot of couples, and I've come to find out, through the years that a handful have not made it. Some have been very surprising, others not so much. Very few not so much though, for me. But apparently a lot of wedding vendors, they see this, on the wedding day. There's big red flags, and things like that. And I think it's worth talking about because there's so many red flags that can be identified. But
maybe like the couples don't see the red flags, and maybe it could be a good thing to just suss out before you tie the knot,
Yeah. Let's see. Well,
we're just looking out.
Yeah. I think the first one though, you see this on TikTok all the time. You really do.
I know what you're going to say already.
But dudes, don't smash the cake in the bride's face on the wedding day.
The non-consensual cake smash.
Just don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Like, listen, if you discuss it ahead of time, I think we've talked about this before, but if you discuss it ahead of time and y'all are like on the same page about it, and you want to be, and it's fun for you, like both of you, and you think it's funny together, that's one thing. But if she is not on board and has told you repeatedly, whoever it is, if it's a guy, like if it's two same-sex couples, it doesn't matter. If one person has expressed that they don't want cake in their face, don't fucking do it. Why are we doing this?
Dudes, seriously, do you know how much money they spent on makeup? Do you realize the process that they went through? Okay, sitting in that fucking chair for an hour.
Mention the trial beforehand, like they. Oh my
God.
That this is the look that they wanted for the whole day, and oh God.
Like I've seen the girls get ready. Okay, like being in the industry. Okay. Maybe it's because I'm in the industry. I realize how much has gone into this, but I don't think a lot of grooms do. I don't think they realize like how much time is spent sitting in that chair, getting ready in the morning. Like it's a process. Like what does hair and makeup start like 4 or 5 hours sometimes before like the bride is slated to leave, for the ceremony or for the first look? Like that's a long time being sitting around getting like your face touched with a makeup brush.
I think the last time I shot like a morning wedding and I showed up at like 9 a.m. or earlier, let's say 7 a.m., like they're starting at like in nighttime. Like
starting at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Starting at like 2, 3 in the morning. Like you stop doing this. Stop doing this, because I swear to God, I remember seeing this just happened on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
You saw the TikTok. I think so many people have seen this where it was like, I don't know if it was staged or not, because I was sitting there
Definitely
going,
wasn't.
Really?
Definitely wasn't.
I so hope that this was staged, but it was like an anniversary or like a renewal, a vow renewal. And he did the cake smash after she said that, don't do it. Don't do it. He did it anyway. And then She says I didn't like it when you did it on our wedding day, and I don't like it now. Like, you did it twice.
Like, dude,
twice.
Where's the red flag guy?
Fuck.
I think he did a video on it though. I think the red flag guy did a video on it.
He did. And then the best friend pops off and is just like, "You're a fucking asshole." Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah.
I don't understand why you're getting so upset. And then she smashes the cake in his face and he gets upset. Like, dude.
No. It just doesn't ever work out. Okay. Like a little cute, like dap on the nose or something, like, okay. Or if you discuss it, like, yeah, I'm going to slam it in your face. You're going to slam it in my face kind of thing. Like if we're wasted or something like that. It just.
You know what pisses me off the most is that, like, they'll do it, right? They'll smash the cake. Obviously, bride is upset. And then when she goes to do it back, he leans away. Like, accept the consequences of your actions, sir.
Yeah. And you know there's going to be some motherfuckers on here that are going to be like, oh, yeah, it's cute. And it looks so good. And oh, my God, it makes for such a fun, candid memory. No. Fuck off, dude. Fuck off. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Some idiot that, like, defiantly opposes everything we say, which is, like, for me, it's really fun. And, like, it's okay. Like, again, we don't expect everyone to agree with us, but there are some people that specifically disagree with us just to disagree with us. And, like, it.
Oh, you know who you are, you fuckers. Like, you listen every week and you comment on every fucking post just to disagree.
Like, this is a universal thing. I'm positive that almost the majority of everyone that is listening to this will agree. Like, if you don't want cake smashed in your face, why would anyone be okay with it? But there's going to be one asshole that's just like, no, I think it's fine.
You know there's going to be an asshole that says it. It's just how it is. There's so many different things though that, like, you know, I think I've seen throughout the years that are kind of red flags that, you know, like vendors could kind of see in a couple, like it might not work out. You know, that's one of them, obviously. Okay. Like the non-consent type things. Okay. There's been a few times where, like, you know, the bride wants to do something the groom does not, or vice versa. And you start to see like the disconnect between them. Mm-hmm. I think one of the big things is like, okay, like you have different personalities. You have introverts and extroverts and stuff like that. The bride, say, might be a wild dancer, likes to party, wants to be on the dance floor with her friends, having a blast. And the groom might be a little bit more reserved. Okay. And he's not a dancer. He doesn't want to partake in that. I don't see that too much as a red flag as I think some people do.
That was like one of the things that I saw in the original discussion. It's like if they're not spending any time with each other during the party. But I mean, I've seen that so many times, and they have like a great rapport with each other. So some people just aren't dancers. They're not partiers. And I don't see that as like a red flag as much as other people did. But I think it's body language.
I think so too. I think it's total body language. Like when it comes down to things, I don't see the dance floor like being separate during the reception being a huge red flag. It's like how they are when they're together. Like someone identified this, I think it was in a movie, but you know, like notice how the couple's feet are if they're pointed towards each other. That means like they're totally into each other. And if they're pointed away from each other, like say like a groom standing and his toes are pointing like one way and the bride's toes are pointing the other way, like they're really just disconnected from each other. And I was like, that's kind of a really powerful observation to make. But I've actually paid attention to that. How couples stand in their body language. And like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with them being on the dance floor. Like I've seen couples like one partner doesn't dance. The other one does. All right. Like I am a little bit more introverted. My wife's a pure dancer. Granted, okay, when I take a couple of shots, I'm out there too. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
we know how I am.
Yeah, I'm a terrible dancer though. I just know I'm a terrible dancer. Alcohol makes me feel like I'm a good dancer. I am the stereotype.
Have you seen it's like, trust me, you can dance? vodka.
Alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's me. You could like absolutely I'm a stereotype. So I don't think that's the case, but I do think there are little signs like throughout the night that if people are not paying attention to each other, that is a key like red flag. I think out there is if a couple is like so distant from each other throughout the entire time. Yeah, you could see that writing on the wall over there.
I mean, I have the whole thread open right now just in case we wanted to reference it. But like one of the biggest was how much alcohol one party consumes.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I've seen a couple where like I found out after the fact that like one of them was cheating. And I'm not going to say who because I don't want to like make them feel uncomfortable. But I found out one person was caught cheating like days before the wedding. And they went through with it. And I didn't know on the day of. Like I found out afterwards.
Okay.
And I was just like, something is so off today. Like I don't. Because when I did their engagement shoot, everything was great. They were like obsessed with each other. And then come wedding day, it was like the vibes are off. Like this person was drunk, like drunk all day. I couldn't do portraits because they were like swaying, not able to stand up. And the other person was totally fine and just kind of laughing it off. And then they had like thrown up in the bushes when I was trying to do portraits. And then they just kept going. Like it was shot after shot after shot and smoking weed and like the whole nine. This person like basically passed out at their own wedding. They couldn't continue. And then, you know, I was just like vibes totally off. Like this is something's up. And then as it turns out, that's what was really going on behind the scenes. So they have since split up and I'm happy about that because yucky.
Yeah, no, I think that's like I've had that happen too. I've seen one of my first weddings I've ever photographed. This was 10 plus years ago. I have no idea if they're still together. I'm not in touch with them or anything like that, but very similar to that situation where the groom actually passed out in the bridal suite and missed almost the entirety of the reception.
That's
like
easy.
Like, could you imagine that? Like, I mean, like drinking so much, and it wasn't like he got alcohol poisoning or food poisoning or anything like that. Like, it like, you know, it had something bad that affected him, I should say. Like he drank too much and he was puking in the bathroom the whole night. And the bride was living her best life on the dance floor with all her friends and everything like that. So yeah, don't drink too much. Listen, a wedding is a party.
Absolutely.
100% it's a party. It is like a great celebration. You should be entitled to have the best time possible. Okay, but if you are overdoing it,
if you're too drunk to even remember your wedding, like, did it even happen?
100%. We talked about that one story where the bride was drugged. Remember, like she was like drugged, and she felt like she was gypped out of her wedding, and she didn't get to enjoy her wedding. Like, could you imagine? Like, she was drugged, okay, and missed her day. Could you imagine if you voluntarily did that and missed your day, like voluntarily because you're a fucking moron? Like, just drink a good amount. Like, feel happy buzz. Yeah, I always tell people, you know, like liquor before beer. You're in the clear, right? Like, basic science, okay? Shit you learned in high school, okay?
Yeah, I mean, and then someone said, that they like if they treat their vendors poorly.
Yeah, you could tell.
You can tell like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like this is a long time ago, but I remember going on a date with somebody and they treated the waiter like shit. And I was like, well, that's it for me. Like,
you could always tell, like, it's one thing to project stress, okay? And like to be stressed out, okay? But if you're just a resident dickhead, yeah, you could tell this shit ain't gonna work out. Like, you could tell that's not gonna work.
I mean, all these people like came together to make your wedding day special and you're going to treat them like garbage. Why?
Yeah. Like, That's the thing. And you know, people will probably chime in here and say like, oh, you know, they were probably raised that way. They were maybe spoiled, entitled, things like that. Yeah, those are probably factors there. But you know, usually those people are miserable in their lives. And if you treat people like shit, especially on a day where they're there to serve you, okay, and service your needs, like because as vendors, that's what we're doing. We're providing a service to, you know, the best day of your life. And if you're treating that person like shit and it's unwarranted, then yeah, that's like a gigantic fucking red flag that like, you know, that's how you are in your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, why would somebody want to work with that like going forward? Like granted, like none of these vendors are going to probably fire a client on a wedding day, like very rarely, okay, for just like, you know, getting verbally abused, even though a lot of us have those in there, those clauses in our contract to protect us from shit like that.
Yeah,
But
our heart of hearts is just like, I just like can't bring yourself to do it. You can hold their memories hostage.
yeah,
But I mean, I've gotten close, like real close to leaving jobs before. And this is when, not in the time that I was, you know, for myself, but when I was working for a studio, there was like 2 instances where I was like, yeah, I'm ready to walk out of this situation because it just was so toxic. But nothing was ever really directed at me.
yeah.
It was always just kind of like at other people, or I was super uncomfortable. And that's still grounds to leave.
Yeah, I don't know if it is though. Like if you're mistreated, okay, that's one thing, okay? If they are talking shit to you, badly to you, being an asshole to you, okay, verbally abusing you, I think that's grounds to leave. But if they're doing that to other people, okay, and you as a vendor are there to service their needs, I don't know if that's the right time to leave. Only because they're not doing it to you.
It's so tricky though, because I remember like seeing a couple of, I think it was a post in like the unscripted group where someone had like basically witnessed like domestic violence, right?
I think that's a different story.
Yeah,
that's a different story.
Being verbally abusive to the girl, and it was just like one of those things where they got bad vibes, and they were just like, I got home and felt so dirty, like, you know, like trying to take photos during the session because he was being so horrible to her.
Okay.
And it's like, where do we draw the line? Like that day, I wasn't personally like verbally abused, but this guy was going off on everyone. He was trying to pee in front of the church. Like he's
he's just a dickhead.
He was so bad.
Yeah.
This is that's down that like
yeah, you wrote the whole list. Yeah, that guy. Fucking
that almost made me quit weddings.
Yeah, fuck that guy. I think that's a different story. He was treating you like shit too. Wasn't he saying shit like to you too?
He was saying like, this is so fucking stupid. I don't want to do this. Fuck this. Like, but it wasn't at me. It was like the situation. So it was like such a weird technicality.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't do anything I asked. He wouldn't even take pictures with his mom.
I think so this is like weird, okay, because like this is a great discussion, okay? All right, because of the fact that like, all right, if you're not being mistreated at a wedding, but you are put in an uncomfortable situation, do you have grounds to leave? I don't think you do. Because you're not in that, you're not, this isn't being directed to you.
Right.
So
I stayed.
I know you stayed. Like I would stay. I would suck it up and stay.
Half of the fucking poor bride who had to deal with it, you know, like her memories are still important, and I wanted to like do what I could, but I was just like, you know, like you kind of get what you get in this situation, and you can't get upset. Like there was only so much I could do. Yeah,
that's the thing is like there's only so much you could do. There's only so much you could do. But I do think, okay, so like, I think there is like a lot of, I think there's like, it's just such a gray area.
Dicey. I don't know.
I don't know like the legality behind it or anything like that. This is like kind of just an open discussion here. But like, to be honest with you, I wouldn't leave unless like it was directed at me. If like the couple was like insulting or being dickheads to me or saying things that like were verbally abusive or physically abusive, okay, grounds to leave, 100%. That's in the contract, clause in the contract. But if they are mistreating people at the wedding, the others besides you and your team, then to be honest with you, I don't think that's grounds to leave. And I think that could actually get you in trouble if you did leave, because like it's not targeted towards you unless, okay, in your contract you have it written that like uncomfortable situations, things like that, something, how it's worded. Yeah. So I would like, I'd love a legal expert's opinion on that. Maybe we should have a legal expert on that show.
I wonder who we could get in touch with.
Oh my God, maybe there's someone that's going to come on the show in the next few weeks that, we have. Maybe that's a good question for her.
People.
Yeah, we have some people. So this episode is sponsored by the Legal Paige. The Legal Paige is a legal education platform for small businesses and a contract template shop. They help you get legally legit in minutes. So Lauren,
I've been using a Legal Paige contract for a while now.
I know you have, and guess what?
Did you do it?
I did. I took the jump. I took the jump and I implemented Paige's contract into my proposals and everything.
How amazing.
Oh my God. There was so much in there that like just covers my bases
that you wouldn't even think of.
I'm like, where was this my whole life? So they have literally changed the game for me. They have made me feel a lot more secure in my business. And I really think you guys should take a look.
Just take a peek.
Just take a peek. Take a peek.
And there's also something for anything. Like I've gotten a couple of destination inquiries and realized that I needed to change my contract. So you can purchase a destination wedding contract.
Yeah, maybe if you have a second shooter or an associate shooter and you need an agreement, they have those as well. So it doesn't matter what you are in the industry, whether you're a photographer, videographer, planner, florist, DJ, you name it. The Legal Paige has a contract that will make your business legally legit.
All contracts have been reviewed and critiqued by industry-leading professionals and come with free future updates made by the Legal Paige's legal team.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but Paige is a retired wedding and family photographer, as well as an attorney. So she has a very unique perspective and expertise when it comes to photography contracts. They offer education through blog posts, podcast episodes, YouTube channel, pretty much you name it.
The whole nine.
So definitely check them out. Use the link in the show notes to get legally legit. And you know what's really cool about it, Lauren? We got a code.
We got a code. Use TVT10.
And that will get you what?
10% off anything in the shop.
So you want to get your business legally legit? Check out the Legal Paige.
We just want to give a special shout out to Maru, one of our sponsors. Maru is a modern payment experience for the weddings and events industry.
Maru has added some incredible new features, including the ability to send contracts, create itemized invoices, and our personal favorite, the ability to pay contractors.
Love this.
Yeah, like that makes me so happy to have a platform that if I need to pay like an associate or a second shooter, I'm paying them right through Maru. It just goes right to their bank account, makes things so nice and easy.
It's also so neat and organized.
Yeah.
You can find anything.
Super organized. Like, I love it because I'm just like, hey, I got to print it out at the end of the year, send my accountant over for tax purposes and all that stuff.
Perfect.
It keeps things so nice and neat.
Maru is a community of 10,000 plus wedding and event professionals, and it's growing. They offer seamless transactions and a hassle-free payment experience. They make it easy for you to focus on what you do best, creating memorable experiences.
So we went over, but with Maru, you could create and share your contract, accept and make payments without processing fees, offer clients a simpler experience, no need to sign up, just pay and go, and pay your contractors, something we both love. So it also keeps all your payments neatly organized in the central hub. You could sign up for free at maru.us/TBT. I basically just said, chalk it up to a loss, okay? No big deal. But that's just me personally.
Yeah.
Would I have a right to post those photos? Yeah. Could I have them in my portfolio? Yeah. Do I want to do that? Absolutely not.
It just doesn't, it doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. And believe me, I think I still have in my portfolio couples that have since split, and they're like beautiful shots that are portfolio pieces. When I redo my website, I will probably omit those. Like I just haven't gone back and deleted them. Like I haven't updated my website in 2.5 years in terms of my portfolio gallery.
My website, like at the end of the season.
Yeah, same.
I take a break, and then like at the end of, I don't know, like beginning of January or something, I'll go through it and revamp. But yeah, I I'm not going to go through like 1,000 photos and take them all down. I also don't know who has gotten divorced and who's still together. The couple I was just talking about earlier, I removed those photos because, that's pretty traumatic. Like, she didn't ask me. Oh, I guess I just revealed which one it was, but whatever. She didn't ask me to take them down, but I was like, that's a shitty situation. And if you're following me and have to see that, I would feel yucky. So,
yeah.
Other than that, again, it's just do what your heart feels is right.
Yeah. The other thing is like, I just think like I don't think this is a touchy subject, to be honest with you. I just think this is like a moral thing. And I think most wedding photographers out there are kind of like, they understand these things. Okay. And they understand like, these situations, and they won't do that. And I think other vendors in the same scenario would probably do the same thing. But
we have them who like for some reason are opposed to doing that because they're so proud of the photos. But like, set your pride aside for a minute and think about what it would feel like in your in their position if you were to go through something like this, something as like terrible as divorce, and having to see those photos. If they really don't want to see that and they reach out to you and say, I'd really love for you to remove the photos, fucking remove the photos, man.
Yeah, it's not,
it's not the hill to die on.
Yeah, I'm going to play like a scenario here because I think like there'll be some photographers that might push back at this. Like, what if you photograph a celebrity couple? Okay, for instance, that is award winning. It's been featured in every magazine, every place under the sun, right? And it's like, it puts you on the map. Okay. And 6 months later, that couple gets divorced. Okay. Celebrity couple, right? Would you take those photos down?
It depends. I mean, if you're photographing a celebrity couple, you might have NDAs that you got to deal with. So I don't know.
That's true. So you might have NDAs, but if you didn't, okay, and you had a right to post those photos, okay, what would you do if they did get divorced? Okay. Would you not show those anymore in your portfolio? Even though those are the photos that maybe made your career?
Yeah. You know what? There's ways around this, though. You can, like, take out photos that have, like, distinguishing characteristics. I know that, like, I don't feel like photographing a celebrity would, like, alter my career so heavily that I'm going to suddenly be a celebrity photographer.
You never know.
You never know, I guess. But, like, you can show them privately. And kind of, I guess you can hide them a little bit, but I guess you know what I mean?
would do. I would do. I would do that. Like, say 6 months after after their wedding, the couple split. Okay, celebrities. You never know. Okay, I would still put on my website celebrity wedding photographer. Okay, and if somebody asked me like, oh, you're a celebrity wedding photographer, who'd you photograph? Well, I photographed so and so and so and so. I know they're not together anymore, but if you want to see their gallery, here you go. I could walk you through it, give you a little preview of it. So, you can see I have that experience. But yeah, I would probably not showcase those anymore. I'd still leave them up if they were on my Instagram. I'd still leave them up unless the couple asked me to take them down.
Again, it's just like even a celebrity, even almost more so a celebrity because they're so in the public eye.
Yeah.
Maybe so many people will like dehumanize them for that. Like, they asked for this attention, but it's still just so private and intimate. And I just think that the right thing to do is if somebody asks and it's their image in question and it's uncomfortable for them to see it and they want the images removed, just fucking take them down.
Yeah. They're still people. At the end of the day. So, you got to treat them like people. And, kind of bridging this into, you were talking about NDAs and everything like that, but like, couples out there might be wondering like, okay, what if I don't want my imagery appearing on a photographer's social media, on their website, anything like that? You do have a right as a couple to ask for a privacy clause.
Absolutely.
100% have a right to do that. So if you feel like you don't want to be featured on a website or social media or have maybe you can't. Okay. You could always ask your photographer, your videographer, your content creator, whoever you're using to ask them for a privacy clause
Mm-hmm.
and add that to the contract. The photographer will likely agree to that, okay, or they'll pass you on to a photographer that will say like, yeah, like I'll agree to that. Personally, I've done that several times for couples that requested one.
Incredible family session, and I was so fucking pumped on it, and they hit me with the, hey, we really don't want our photos on social media, and I was like, shart. Because I just like love, they came out so gorgeous. But like, who cares? That's what they want. That's their, and it's, you know, when it's a family session, there's kids. So you absolutely have to respect that. Like you don't.
Yeah, like especially with children, you know, like stuff like that. Like definitely family photographers, I can see this happening to a lot because, you know, there are kids involved. Like personally, I don't really want my kids on the internet that much. So like I don't post my kids on my photography page anymore. They're only on my personal and my personal Facebook and stuff like that. So personally, I think today I might enact that, like where I wouldn't want my kids on social that much. But you know, I had a couple years ago, I think this was 2016, that he was a Navy SEAL, an active duty Navy SEAL. Their wedding had a lot of active duty military, a lot of higher ups, admirals, things like that were there. I think there was a senator there, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a lot of bigwigs from Washington there. And, you know, the couple asked me to put a privacy clause in the contract. I could not share any of those photos, and it was a gorgeous wedding. Now what I did was, okay, I asked them, there were a few shots that I took that were just pure bangers and just incredible, but you really couldn't see the couple's face, okay, in the shots. So I asked them, you know, directly, I was like, hey, like, you know, I respect our privacy clause and everything like that, but there are 3 photos here that are just unbelievable and gorgeous, and I'd love to showcase these. Okay, won't add names. I won't do anything like that or anything, but I'd love to showcase these. And if you don't like want me to, I am totally okay with that. And they literally wrote me back. They're like, you know, thank you so much for checking. Like, we're totally fine with these 3 shots. Like, you feel free to share everything like that. We love them. Go ahead. So, like, you know, that's where I asked for, you know, a particular number and stuff like that. But, you know, I respected their wishes. And once he retired from active duty, I reached out again and said, hey, you know, I know you're retired now and everything like that. Would it be okay if I, you know, was able to showcase a couple of more images from your wedding? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Like, that's totally fine now, you know, kind of thing. So like, I got written permission for me to use their wedding again. So, you know, there are things you could do, you know, if a couple, like if you're a vendor or if you're a photographer, where if a couple asks for a privacy clause, that may be like, you know, hey, if you had a banger of a session or a banger of a wedding day and you really want to showcase one of those shots, maybe like just like, you know, sending a personal note or a personal message to them might, you know, allow you to do so.
I mean, similar situation. I did a like a maternity session for my tattoo artist. And she's a very private person, you know. She didn't necessarily say, like, you can't post photos. You know, she was comfortable with me sharing photos, but she was like, I would really like if you could, like, message me or, like, show me the photos that you're considering posting beforehand, and I'll let you know which ones I approve. And I was like, sure, absolutely. So I sent her a few. She, like, hearted which ones she was okay with. And then she, you know, was like, I'd really prefer that you didn't post the other images. And I was like, totally fine. But, you know, it's really just keeping communication with your clients and making sure that they're comfortable. And I just feel like their comfort kind of comes before our egos, you know?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, you know, I got to be a egotistical prick to put my values ahead of my clients. Like, that's just, nah, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that.
There's many times where we've talked openly about client wrong, client wrong, client wrong. But this is one of those that we're always going to side with the client. Like, if they want their images to be protected and private, they're fucking private, and there's no arguing there.
Yeah. And if you don't agree with that, you're in the wrong field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just get out of the fucking field. Like, it's just
like,
yeah. Sorry.
Don't think any, like, if you're booking like significant jobs and you're constantly shooting, then what the fuck does it matter that this one wedding says, I really don't want you to post my photos?
Yeah, really. Like it's,
I don't
you
shoot
know,
that many a year. I max out at like 25, but the 25th says that they don't want me to post their photos, and 24 others say that they are totally cool with it. What? It's no skin off my nose. Like, I don't care.
yeah. Yeah, I think there was somebody in our group that said, like, I don't shoot a lot, and like a lot of my couples want NDAs and things like that. I think that's tough, and I understand that scenario is very, very tough. But there are ways you could get around it, like the ways I suggested, where you could approach them and just ask them, "Can I use a particular image, or can I use this shot, or something where you can't see your faces? Maybe it's a wide landscape type photo."
You can,
like
if you have a gallery delivery service like we do, we obviously use PixieSet, and they have the ability to select favorites. You can even ask them, like, hey, I know that we agreed upon like not posting or sharing your images, but if there are any that you are okay with me posting and sharing, can you add it to a favorites list and say, these are the ones I'm comfortable sharing? It's almost as easy as that. Like, say they may not want their faces in it, but they're totally comfortable with sharing like a silhouetted photo. Nothing identifiable, but you're still able to share something from that wedding, and be fucking grateful that
Seriously.
they're allowing you to. Don't be like, oh, they only let me pick this photo. Shut up.
Yeah, seriously, fucking, come on, you fucking clowns. It's all right. Well, like the last thing I want to talk about, okay, because I think it's an important topic, and before we go, I want to touch on this because a lot of people in our group have been talking about this a lot and bringing this up, but like, wedding vendors, most wedding vendors, or photographers, videographers, planners, people that like DJs, entertainment, bands, stuff like that, have clauses in their contract that state like vendors are to receive a meal for being at a wedding, okay, or given the allotted time to get a break to have a meal, okay. Photographers were there for like sometimes 10 plus hours. We get 10 minutes for a break to eat. And most of the time I'd say I think 99 out of 100 for me, I've been fed at a wedding. Okay.
Yeah.
And the ones that I haven't, I've been told beforehand, like, hey, like this venue does not feed vendors kind of thing. And it's understood beforehand. I've had a few instances where, like very few, and I want to say probably less than 5, where I showed up and I had no idea, like I wasn't getting fed in 300 instances.
Right.
Okay. But in most cases, like, vendors are fed at a wedding, and like the couples will ask like, hey, like, I just need to know how many on your team so I could give it to the caterers for, an accurate vendor meal count. Okay. Stuff like that. Okay. I think most couples don't really know what vendors are being fed at their wedding. Sometimes, there are venues that will tell their clients, yeah, I'm giving your vendor a vendor meal, and they're going to charge X amount, usually like half the rate of a guest, okay, for a vendor meal.
Or they'll say that they're giving them exactly what the guests are getting, so they charge the couple the same amount as what they would for a normal guest.
Okay.
And
then what happens is the vendor receives, a cold lunchbox, like a small sandwich, something that is like not what the couple thought that vendor was going to receive. But the couple's paying for that. They're paying for a hot meal. They might be paying the full guest rate. They might be paying half the rate for, a $4 sandwich and stuff like that. Now, as a vendor, like if a couple asks me, they come up to me and ask me, hey, were you fed? And if I was fed, I'm going to say, absolutely, yes, I was. Okay. I'm not going to tell them what I was fed unless they ask. So I think though, couples, if you are getting married and your caterer's asking like, hey, how many vendor meals do you have? Ask them what the vendors are being provided.
Yeah.
And if they are saying like, hey, the vendors are provided a full meal, tell your vendors that they are being provided that full meal, because if they're not being provided that full meal, then you should get money back as a couple. Because if they're not being provided that full meal and you're getting charged $100+ a plate for that vendor, and you're spending like could be $1,000 to $1,500, depending on how many vendors you have at your wedding for meals for your vendors, and the caterer's like giving them like $4 like cold sandwiches or something like that.
It's
yeah,
like,
get your money back.
Sounds crazy that this is even a thing, because like you want to trust that the caterer is doing the right thing here. Like if you're being charged over $100 for a plate of food, you would hope that that vendor, especially since it's such a kind gesture, you know, it is such a nice thing for couples to do. Don't get me wrong. None of us feel like we are entitled to a hot meal. It's industry standard and it's very much appreciated. But like if the couple is expecting for the vendors to be fed a certain type of meal and they have no idea that they're getting cold sandwiches and sometimes just slop left over from cocktail hour.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you not be irate?
I would be pissed, and I've seen that happen. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll shout her out. Meredith. Okay. I got married. Like Meredith got married a few years ago. Okay. She asked the venue, which is a very good, very well-known venue. Okay. What are the vendors being fed? I want to make sure they're getting full meals, full plated meals. Okay. So I didn't know that. She didn't tell me that. Okay. Like we go to sit down for dinner, service, everything like that. We're fed a bowl of pasta. Don't get me wrong. The pasta was good. It hit the spot. It was delicious and everything like that. She didn't pay for that though. She paid for a full plated meal. So she came over when we were eating to say hello, being a photographer herself. Okay. And like take a minute, and she sees we're eating pasta. She's irate that we're eating pasta because of the fact that she paid for a full fucking meal.
Mm-hmm.
So she let the venue have it. I think the following week, let them have it. They gave her her money back.
Good.
So clients, I think you need to realize that, like, you know, or maybe get a better understanding on this topic because of the fact that, like, if you are paying a lot of money for a vendor meal, know what the vendors are getting.
Right.
That way you understand what you're paying for. If you're paying for a sandwich, then pay for the sandwich. That's fine. As long as the vendor is being fed, I'm okay with that. Okay. Like if you understand what you're paying for. Right. But, you know, I'm never going to go up to a couple and I'm never going to go up to a couple and say, yeah, I was fed from like the pig trough or anything like that. Like, you know, I'm not going to do that. Like if they told me if the venue provided me with a meal, even if it was a shit meal, I'm never going to go up to the couple and say, yeah, that was a really shitty meal.
God.
Like I'm never going to do that.
Jesus. No,
but
that.
Don't do that. But I do think that, you know, like couples need to understand that like this topic, because it's a touchy subject for us vendors. We don't want to step on our couples' toes or anything like that. But I think educating our couples on the fact that, like, hey, we want to make sure that if you're spending money on a vendor meal, and you're spending hundreds of dollars on that vendor meal, or even like it could be $75. $75 is a lot of money per vendor. Okay. For a vendor meal, half the rate of what a normal dinner is, let's just say. Okay. That adds up over time. If you're paying half the guest rate, then that vendor should receive a meal that is comparable to that dollar value. So, you know, if they're getting a cold lunchbox, like in terms of like a sandwich with like, you know, a bag of carrots or something like that as their meal, and you paid $75 for that, yeah, get your money back.
Yeah, you got ripped off.
Yeah. So that's for couples out there.
Yeah.
So this was our first remote episode. Okay. We're working through the hiccups. I don't know how this is going to fucking sound. I don't know how this is going to look. Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, it seems okay. We're going to see how the recording went and everything like that. But this was interesting, to say the least. A very interesting topic today. We haven't had a topic in a while. And I felt like this was like we really haven't, when you think about it.
Been reading stuff.
Yeah. We've just been saying stories and stuff like that. But this is setting up. Yeah, this is setting us up for having guests on in the future, remote guests. So we just wanted to give this a shot this week. We couldn't get into the studio this week, so we're like, let's try this and see how it works. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this one. Lauren,
yes,
where can they find you?
You can find me at LaurenO'BrienPhoto.com and Lauren O'Brien Photo and the Feral Photog on Instagram and TikTok. Mike, where can they find you?
At Michael Casara Photo on Instagram, TikTok, as well as my website. And you can find us at the Vendor Table Pod on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, as well as
our Facebook group.
And guess what? We have a new website.
Yay!
Yeah, check it out, thevendortable.com. It has links to everything. Hope you guys enjoy that, but thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We will catch you next time.
Okay, bye!